Hello, hello.
Here's the Yankee.
As that would come.
He could. Yeah, when do you leave?
I don't leave. That
Oh,
opportunity has passed today because I have COVID. So I'm not
ooh,
going anywhere.
oh,
Boobin episode.
Yeah, don't even feel bad. Just fucking, but my sister has an 8-month-old, so I tested and I tested positive last night. So I went in and then took another test myself and tested positive all 3 times.
look
So
at that though. That's
go see the
fucking being
baby.
responsible. Like, I'm assuming you didn't even have the symptoms or anything. It sounds like you just were like, it's a young child. I should test.
Yeah, like maybe I feel kind of tired, but yeah, it's 100%. Like I've tested before anytime I fly because I follow the freebies Reddit, and one of the things they always publish is when they give away like 6 of those every 3 to 6
Oh,
months.
okay, yeah.
And so just always take before flights because I always have those. And it feels like the right thing to do. But yeah, especially
All
with
right,
the eight month
same
old.
here.
It's like fuck it. But anyway, yeah, I tested and dude, I was shocked. I've never had COVID before, or at least never have I known that I've had COVID, but this experience makes me think I definitely could have had it before and just had no fucking clue.
Yeah, I mean the asymptomatic cases. And that's why it spread so quickly.
Yep. But yeah, my sister was very grateful that I tested. So obviously that would have been a bummer to figure that out when I was already there. But yeah, so I will be staying in North Carolina.
No, that just means you're gonna play more WoW. So you know, fuck seeing your family, right? Like this time of year isn't about seeing family and being thankful for things. It's about playing WoW, Becky. It's about playing WoW.
I'm genuinely excited I get to watch football because that is the one thing I
Oh yeah.
zero shot at being able to do. I was around my sister. She vehemently hates sports. But play a little while. That is if I know I had different ideas for topics, but I would try if anyone was to recommend a game. I had like 4 choices floating around in my head that I was gonna
Oh,
try and
that's
decide.
kind
Wow.
of what my stupid ass idea essentially is like games that we would recommend filtered down to stuff that is on sale for Black Friday. So we're recording this on November 22nd here in the US. That means Thanksgiving is tomorrow, which is actually interesting. I always thought Thanksgiving was the last Thursday of November. Is it the Thursday of the last full week of November? Is that what it is?
I'll be
Um,
honest, I always thought it was the third Thursday in November.
yeah, I think it's the
Maybe.
last.
Well, no, because it's not
Yeah, I
the
think
third
it's the
either,
third.
because it's the fourth. No, it's the fourth,
Oh,
because
it is the
the
fourth, yeah, because
second.
it was the
Yeah.
second.
So, like,
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's
how
the
are
second to
we
last one.
29 and none of us know how the fuck Thanksgiving works?
I don't care. I don't care. I got
Yeah, it
other
doesn't
stuff to do.
matter. It's always on the calendar.
Yeah. So, anyways, in the U.S., Thanksgiving is tomorrow, and the U.S. being the amazing, greedy, capitalist country we are, no one gives a shit about Thanksgiving. Everybody cares about Black Friday and Cyber Monday, which I am positive those have spread throughout the globe at this point. Even if Thanksgiving and turkey and stuffing hasn't, Black Friday, I'm certain has. Um, anyway, so that's this week, and a bunch of people like they've started basically doing like week long sales. And I like to pretend like I like to feel good, like pretend like I'm saving money, even though it's the classic like I'm spending money that like I wouldn't have spent at all, and so like I'm not really saving any money. The classic fucking story, right? Um, but anyways, so it's Black Friday, shit's on sale, and so yeah, I was thinking like whenever one of these big sales pops up, not like the normal ones that always happen, but like the big ones, I like to browse and just be like, oh, anything here, like if I was smart, I would just like put shit I care about on my wish list. But like, there's something about just like clicking down on the D-pad and like scrolling through the list of sales that like I enjoy. Um, anyway, so my really stupid idea for this Wednesday before Thanksgiving, before Black Friday, is let's look at some sales. We can just basically probably just do Steam and Xbox and basically just saying I'll send out a link to at least the Xbox when I have that pulled up. And then just like go through it and be like, what games are in here that are on sale that like you've played and you're like, that's a good price. People should play that game. People should go buy that game at that price right now and go play it. Does that make sense?
I'm down. Can we go ahead and get this one out of the way? Without looking at it, I'm sure Titanfall 2 is on sale, and anytime sales come up, everyone's always like, go get Titanfall 2. It's a friggin' meme at this point. I see it every single time in any sale because it's always
It
on
is
sale.
$4.50 as it always is.
Of course. Yeah, good.
So yeah,
Try that
so
once. It's
yeah,
worth it for the
this
campaign.
is a great way to get out of the way. So okay, and actually, I'm just kind of curious. So like, do you all do this too? Like, do you all just like browse the sale when they happen, like the big
Yeah, of course.
sales or some? Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm curious. How do you sort it by?
It really depends. This is why Steam is superior because Steam has multiple different ways you can do it, and it's very easy to flip between them. I usually look at by percentage, like what is the biggest,
That is
Amount on-
that is what I do as well. Okay.
and
What about you?
then popularity.
What about you, James? How do you sort your sale browsing?
I do wish list a lot, and I'm glad like Xbox has that feature because it'll like send me notifications if something I want. Like it sent me for like Lords of the Fallen, even though I'm not going to get it right now because it's still like $50. But and then like Steam, I currently have 127 games on my wish list. I do that one for sales and like
What the
notifications.
Fuck.
I also do it because there's a lot of games that are up and coming that are not out yet. And if you do that, Steam will also send you notifications for like when it releases in early access or when it releases, as well as just like instead of me trying to keep track of the fucking store, which is, there's thousands of games, I just have the wish list I can click on. And if there's a game I'm like, I wonder what the development's like on that game, I can go to my wish list, click on that game that's not released, and then it just takes me to the store page without me having to like remember what it was called or something. And you all both know that
makes
like
sense. Yeah.
I like a lot of niche like simulator strategy whatever games, so it's a good way for me to do that. And there's tons of games on there that like have been on my wish list for 400 years and I'm probably never going to get, but they're just there as like a way to keep track. For anything that's not
Fine.
Steam, I just like if it's like the Xbox store, I'll just like double check. Usually I check like the PlayStation store and the Xbox store once a week whenever it like resets, and just like scroll through and see if there's anything worthwhile. And I usually base it on if it's something I actually want and I know I'll play, and it's like $25 or less, depending on how I've been with money within that recent period, I'll probably grab it.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense to me. I am not that complicated. I'm a simple man. I am percent off, high to low. That's how I sort every sale on every platform. And if your platform doesn't let me do that, you're a bad platform and you should feel bad. But yeah, so I'm sharing my screen with you all. Oh, and been a little bit slow on uploading those, but this one will actually be uploaded on time for this to be relevant to anybody who is listening it day of. That being said, also, this is still useful in general, right? Like, this is really just like, this has nothing to do with this specific sale. This is just like, this game, this price, worth it. That's essentially all this is. It doesn't matter if it's this sale or another. It's just kind of useful in general. So, yeah, so I'm sharing my screen so we can all go along together. I'm just going to sort it, like I said, by percent off, high to low. Star Wars Squadrons, $2. Hell yes. Mirror's Edge Catalyst, $1. What the fuck? Why are those things so cheap?
I don't like Squadrons. That's all I'll say.
It is on. I've only played a little bit of it because it was the thing that like I wanted to do with the flight stick in VR, and then I was like, oh shit, I can't do this in VR. But the little bit I did with just the flight stick, not in VR, I was like, okay, this is pretty enjoyable. I mean, it must not be that good if it's $2.
I will say
Also,
next one
both
you're
of
about to
those-
get to. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was
Well, I
gonna
was just
say
gonna say,
Prey at
well,
any price
no,
is worth it.
So yeah, so Prey, excellent choice. Damn, so there's
She's really good.
really good sales here. Yeah,
This is such
okay,
an
like
insane page if you scroll it. Like the
Yeah, man.
combination of
Shit.
incredible but like kind of dated games that have been reduced down 90% and then entirely dead games that never took up off the ground. There's
how it
one that
always
makes
goes.
me, you'll get to it at the bottom. There's one that makes me really sad because it is good. Actually, there's two. I mean, XCOM is
Yeah.
insane.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, $10 for the entire XCOM collection, which includes the
great.
DLC.
Even on console, it's
great
great.
game. Wait, did I just see Prey? They list Prey twice? That is fucking hilarious. That is
Dishonored 2 also very good. Both of them
let's
are
see.
arcane.
Before I go to the next page, anything else you're sticking out to either of you?
No.
Next page. Let's go. Which also, so a lot of these, so like especially the first two, and like we're looking at Need for Speed right now. Like all of these are on EA Play, and they're all part of Game Pass Ultimate at that point. So like if you have Game Pass Ultimate, like and you're interested in Star Wars Squadrons or Mirror's Edge Catalyst, which is a parkour game, go ahead and just do it that way. Dude, Injustice 2 is here again. Why is this so jank? I am assuming it's like different versions of the game or something. I don't know. It's pretty jank. Shadow of War.
$5 is absurd. Same with
Yeah.
Dishonored 2.
Like, fucking 10 out of 10. Like, which I'm assuming that means also Shadow of Mordor will be on here as well for a crazy
Somewhere.
good discount.
Probably.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is an interesting game.
That one makes me so
No one
sad.
should buy. No one should buy this game.
Yeah.
Also, fuck Game Pass. But Bleeding Edge is a dead game that was actually pretty good, and I'm
That was so
sad
much
that it
fun
like
when we played
didn't
it.
take off. Yeah, it's just like a hero. You kind of describe it as a MOBA, right?
Hero Fighter.
I mean, essentially,
It's just it is the melee take on the hero shooter.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good game, and it was sad that it died. It was by Ninja Theory, I think, who makes Hellblade as well.
Very fun.
Um,
Time to really flesh out the cast. Speaking of other games that are in that category,
Anthem.
Anthem is
I
so worth it for $2.
was gonna say I would strongly recommend Anthem for $2 or $3. Like not $3 because there's no point in doing anything beyond the base game at this point. But $2 for just like the base game campaign and really just like not the campaign and the story, but the base game of I am a fucking robot and I am flying around and it's goddamn blast. And then I'm gonna switch to be a bigger robot. Like one of the things that game did that I loved was you didn't have classes that were tied to a character, right? So you could just switch to a different javelin and just like completely change the way you play without having to level up an entire new class or new character. And I love that about games. Like it just makes me so happy. And like there's obviously like a bunch more games that are like definitely trending towards that pattern in general, right? Like it's not quite the same, but Archetypes and Remnant 2, for example, we've talked about the game here. Um, kind of you still have to level that archetype, but you don't have to make a completely new character, right? Like you just have the same character, same guns, et cetera, et cetera. So like I just love when they let you do that. Like they don't make you just do everything over again. Moving on to the next page. And then sticking oh, there it is. Look at that, guys. Look at that.
Titanfall
What's on
2.
this page?
Wolfenstein 2 is really good. Both the first one and the second one,
Yeah.
and the prequel spinoff. All
played
three are
the-
very good.
Have you played the sequel with the daughters?
No, because it's like a weird RPG kind of. Like there's like enemies are leveled. It just didn't look very good. I like the theming of it because it takes place, I think, in like a little bit further into the timeline, but in like Paris, so it's got like a synthy 80s vibe while still being Wolfenstein, but it did not look very good to me.
Very interesting. Yeah, no, it's I haven't played it yet. I think it's supposed to be co-op too, which is
It is. Yeah, it is.
have either of you played Watch Dogs? This is
Yes,
like
I love
say
the
a
first
lot.
game, and I don't like the second or third game.
Yeah, I tried to.
Wait, there's a
Really
third
didn't
one?
like it.
Legion's
Legion.
the third one.
Oh shit, yeah. Jesus Christ.
Legion has some really cool concepts. It's basically just like a big tech demo, but they didn't do enough with it for it to actually be like super cool. I wish they would take the idea of Legion and expand it into a better game.
That's interesting.
But I like the first one.
Seriously, like I said, it's one of those always goes on sale now. Is I'm like, should I get it? But then I never
No.
pull the trigger.
Don't buy any of them, but I really like the first game, and they went away from the first game's like style and theme into the second and the third. Most people say the second one's really good. I didn't like the second one. I didn't like the characters.
Evil Within is another one I always hear talked about a lot, but I haven't played it. But
They're good.
they're good, both
Yeah.
of them.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's $6 and $3. Those are no-brainers.
Yeah, I'd say so. If you like horror
Also,
games,
they're
third person
probably
horror games.
both on Game Pass? Question mark. I'm pretty sure they're both on Game Pass.
We're on at one point. I don't know if they're still
Well, I think
there.
they're published by Bethesda Softworks, and so therefore I think they're probably still on it, but I don't know for sure. So next up is two fighting games, Tekken 7 and Soul Calibur 6. So Packy, you and I played a shit ton of Soul Calibur 6.
I'm looking at it, I was like, I should get it because I
bought it.
like
I bought it in the last big sale. So if you get it, I would go play some fucking Soul Calibur with you.
Exactly, just like if we wanted to play it randomly, because I think that's we had a while where we were like trying each fighting game that came through, and it was easily the one that like stuck around the longest that we at least like continued, besides Multiverses where we were doing 2v2 online.
Yeah, like 1350 still feels kind of, which to be fair, that's also for like all the
That's a
DLC characters
lot.
as well. And yeah, and I mean, like, given that you get the DLC characters, I don't know, like, if you like fighting games and you haven't played Soul Calibur 6, 1350, you should probably get the deluxe edition
This is
or
a
the
really
base
hard
edition
choice.
it's also on sale.
Because with this and Tekken 7, it's like which of these two, the price difference is negligible. It's like $3 difference. So which of these two
Yeah.
would you recommend to somebody?
Soul Calibur. It's more accessible.
Yeah.
Tekken's more
It's
technical.
that.
Tekken's cool.
Tekken is so hard. Tekken, I never know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
pretty decent at fighting
Sleeping
games.
Dogs is also fantastic. Everybody should play Sleeping Dogs. It's a little dated now, but it's a very good game.
Sick. I think I own that. So yeah,
You should play
gotta
it.
go.
really good.
Plants vs Zombies, Battle for Neighborville, $6, 100%. Great games. Also Game Pass. But Plants vs Zombies, Garden Warfare, and Battle for Neighborville are all excellent games. I love them. I love all three of them. They're fantastic. And I'm gonna make this a little easier on us, and I'm gonna switch this to 200 games per page, which is what I should have done initially. But I'm not a smart man. And there we go. I'm caught up. Oh, and of course, no, it's still Battle for Neighborville. But yeah, I would strongly recommend that game to anyone who likes hero shooters but wants something more relaxed, right? So like if you're interested in Overwatch or Paladins or Valorant or something like that, but you just want something a little more chill but still like mechanically a good game with like pretty solid depth and variety, Plants vs Zombies, Garden Warfare 2, and Battle for Neighborville are both exceptional games for that. Would strongly recommend. Anything else sticking out to you guys?
Good.
Oh, how did I miss that?
You
Yeah.
love Andromeda.
It got a lot of shit, but for $6, that's not a question. That's a given.
If you,
1000%.
yeah, it's solid.
Like if you like, which for anybody who doesn't know, we mean Mass Effect Andromeda. It is basically, just sci-fi RPG, right, in space. So if you like sci-fi RPGs, you should totally play Andromeda for $6. Like, that's not even a fucking question. This is a really good sale. Holy shit.
Dude, everything is on sale
Jake?
everywhere.
You played, yeah, pretty much everything we were talking about here. We're going through the Xbox sale, like we mentioned, but like, I would assume that these games are the same prices on every platform, except maybe Nintendo.
Very, very likely. And
Uh,
won't even like this is the only sale we'll get through, and like I feel like everything on my Steam wish list is on sale, and I have like
Yeah,
20
almost
something items on
everything
there.
of mine is on sale. Almost.
To at least some degree.
Uh.
There's some that are like actual big sales, and then there's some like RimWorld is one of those games that it's like, all right, you guys have to do a sale. They're like, okay, 10%.
Yeah, it's
That's all we're
worth it
giving you.
anyways.
I saw an interesting thing. Apparently, Steam. So it's interesting. Is it actually 10%? Like, did you see it? Is it literally
Yes.
10%?
And I know
So
that
that's
never
interesting.
will go more than 10%. Like
Yeah, it's
the
always
developers
10%.
have come forward and been like, we think it is worth full price, and clearly they are incentivized to do these sales because like otherwise they would never ever discount it.
So
They're very
the
adamant
reason I
about
found that kind of interesting is I saw something or watched something, some shitty YouTube short that said apparently Steam does not send notifications about sales less than 20% for games on wish lists, which is why that's interesting that they're only like 10 to 20 feels like a small enough jump that like they would just do it just to like get the wish list email spam sent out. And so that's interesting that they don't. That or the dude is wrong. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Just Cause, James. I know you played these.
I've played all 4 of them. I've played the most of 1, 2, and 3, specifically 3. I don't like 4. It didn't feel like a good enough expansion on like what 3 did, and it was definitely buggier and just didn't feel as good. There's some stuff 4 has that like I know like other people like, but I think if you can get 3 with the DLCs, that's the one you should get if you're at all interested in a open world, just blow things up, like really, really
Looks like
B
it's
movie,
worth it.
schlocky kind of plot, and yeah. But yeah, 3 is really good.
Have you all played Hellblade?
I've seen it played, but I've not played it.
No.
I couldn't do it. People love the game.
Yeah,
Like
it's
people
really good.
adore the
Supposedly.
game.
It's getting a cool sequel.
I couldn't do it. So I don't know. Game Pass if you're interested in that shit, but also $4.50 on sale. So
Dragon's
Aki, did you
Dogma.
buy Dragon Ball Xenoverse verse? Oh, actually, we should do Dragon Ball. Okay, let's go.
Not original one.
I was just gonna say Dragon's Dogma is an extremely good third-person fantasy open world RPG. It's finally getting a sequel after a billion years, but yeah, it's worth whatever money, and it looks like it's what $4 and something.
$4.50. Yeah.
It's even today. It's obviously like older, but it's a very, very good game. If you like a, it's basically a Western third-person art like fantasy RPG, but made by a Japanese developer. So it's got like a bit of both of the tropes you would see in it. It's really good.
Dude, I can never get into it. It's got to be a really slow start because I am
It does have a slow
super
start,
there for the
but it's
like
super
gameplay that
good.
people were advertising, and certainly the
I
clips I saw
just
were like, "This does not feel like the game I'm playing."
I never even beat it because I'm bad at it. Like it for me was like when I was a kid when it was, when I got it, New Dark Arisen is the like expansion specifically that like I remember playing a lot of. Um I was really bad at like the Souls games, but then I was okay at Dragon's Dogma, so it was like it's definitely not a Souls game, but it has some like difficult, third person fantasy melee combat and stuff. So it was like a good middle step for me as a kid. But I mean, it's just got really cool like monster designs. It's got some really cool dynamic stuff with monsters where you can like climb on them. Think like Shadow of the Colossus. You have to actually like kind of know how to fight the monsters. Think something like Witcher, but like even more in depth. And you can like, if you fight like a Chimera, which has like, the 3 heads, it's got like the snake head, the goat head, and like the lion head. You can target and damage each one individually, and as you like hurt and kill each of the heads, it changes the monster's like fighting pattern and what abilities it has. It's got a pretty cool story, like, decent for like a fantasy setting. It's just a really, really good game. It's got the pawn system, which like no other game has done something exactly like that, where you are like your character you make and like, customize and make the class and everything and level up. And then you actually also make a AI controlled character, which just like is with you at all times. So basically it's a co-op game, but it's a single player co-op game where like you don't play with other people, but you have this pawn, which is like a mindless AI follower that just like, helps you out. They can do all the same things you can do. You can assign them like a class and everything. And then it does have like a kind of like pseudo co-op where you can't team up with other players, but you can team up with their pawns. And so you can get a party of 4 where it's your pawn, your character, and then 2 other pawns just from the internet. But I don't know. It's just a really good game. I am very excited for the sequel.
Maybe that sounds like your next game, Packy. You're saying
I
looking
already
forward to
tried
it.
it.
Then that's
It's really good, but it
Super
definitely
slow to
has a
get
slow
going.
start. Definitely has a slow start.
Like
Get
many war
through when you get to the capital, that's when it opens up, and that's not too far in, but that's where it definitely
really
opens
funny
up when
because I think it was the traversal from the starting town to the capital, and there was something that I got like sidetracked, or it seemed like it was going to be longer to
yeah,
get to
no,
the capital,
just
and I gave up.
just do the mission where you have to take the Hydra head from the starting area to the capital, and then it opens up a decent amount. It's still like it's never gonna be like a Skyrim open world, but it is technically like an open world. So it's really good. Also, Deus Ex is next was what I was talking about. Deus
I
Ex
was
is
gonna
also very
say.
good.
Yeah, you've definitely talked about it before.
Love Deus Ex.
You also played Dead Island, right?
Yeah, I did.
Um,
Dead Island's great. I haven't played the new one yet, but it was great as a kid.
actually, so we actually passed Battlefield 5 and didn't mention it.
Battlefield 5 is
James,
really good.
you're a big Battlefield guy, right?
Love Battlefield. Don't like the new one, but I love all the others.
Which again, also those are all on EA Play, therefore Game Pass Ultimate. So if anyone's interested in those, it's a good option.
Origins is really good.
Yep, $9. It's a solid choice.
I think it's the best of the 3 like modern. Well, I guess now 4 modern AC games.
So I've been meaning to play A Way Out, but I haven't done it yet. I might have to wrap one of you two into playing A Way Out with me at some point. So
Danny wants to play it.
Worth $4.50. Borderlands 3, $9. So someone who just bought and played Borderlands 3 recently, 100% recommend.
Yeah,
we're talking about
definitely
show.
recommend.
You can find a previous episode where we go more in depth about it. But like $9, great game, great looter shooter. Would strongly recommend. Obviously Wolfenstein again. The earlier ones. Surge 1 and 2. That is interesting. Have either of you played that?
Yes. Not a lot,
Yeah.
but yes. They're Souls-likes.
No,
They are they are futury cyberpunk Souls-likes. All about like dismembering the robot enemies you fight. It's a really cool concept. I couldn't get into them, but again, I'm not good at Souls-likes other than Elden Ring and Armored Core and Bloodborne, so I don't know.
I'm assuming you both have positive things to say about this here, Sid Meier's Civ 6.
Yeah, I haven't played it on Xbox, but the one Civ game I did play on Xbox was a long time ago, and even that was like a good experience. And Civ 6 is great, and so is Oblivion.
Okay. Plague Tale Innocence, excellent game.
It's
Plague
a game.
Tale Requiem,
Well,
excellent game. Are they both still on Game Pass? Actually,
no, but I mean they are games that maybe don't buy, but you should play anytime they come up on Game Pass.
yeah. Well, and so I don't know if they'll come back. It's I don't know. If you like 10-hour, beautifully told story, beautiful looking game, acceptable gameplay, both games are excellent. And it looks like Innocence, which I believe is the first one.
It is.
Yeah, it is, because then
I shouldn't say that.
Requiem is the second.
Yeah.
First one's $8, totally worth it. Hey, I don't know how much the second one is, but if it was like $15 I would do $15 for the second one, and no questions asked. Like, it's just such a good game.
Arkham Knight's really good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's the season pass actually, which is dumb.
Yeah, that's not even the game.
I should filter this to just games, but
Mhm.
whatever. Watch Dogs, which we mentioned.
Vampire.
Oh, go ahead, James.
I was gonna say Vampire. I haven't played a lot of. I couldn't get super into it, but it seems like a very interesting game. It's definitely like a smaller studio wanted to make something unique, and it has some jankiness to it, but I think it's worthwhile on like a discount, or if I think I got it as part of a Humble Bundle a year or two ago. I played maybe like an hour or two of it, and like I said, interesting. I plan on going back to it at some point, but it's a third person story based kind of RPG takes place where you're a vampire, and so you have to like balance your need to feed, and like all the characters are like single instance characters. So like if you like kill a doctor, like there's not going to be that character. They're all named and exist in the world. So you need to balance your need to like feed and upgrade, because it is an RPG, so it's about like leveling up your character for the combat encounters and stuff. But if you do that, you also like fuck over the town, like the city you're in, and your character himself is a doctor. So like he's like warring between his vampire instincts and also like the Hippocratic Oath of like trying to save the city from an infection. It seems really interesting. I didn't play a lot of it, but I plan to at some point.
Unravel 2 is also an EA game. But for $4, if you want a cute, fun, or like a cute, kind of relaxed, but still like kind of interesting platforming game to play with your significant other, or just your best bro, you never know. But it feels like more of a significant other game. Unravel 2 is a nice, fun, cute, easy game. $4. If that's what you want to play, $4 is a no-brainer, right? Torchlight 3 is interesting. So I have played Torchlight 3 all the way through. And if you really like action RPGs and you've played all the other ones, so like all the other big ones, by that I mean Diablo. If you play Diablo and you've gotten your Diablo fix and you want something different, Torchlight 3 for $8 is worth it. Like, that's a fair deal.
gonna say I would recommend the second one because that was the one I played the most of. I haven't played the third one, but the second one was really good from what I remember.
Which the second one's $4. I think I started to play it after I played the third one, and there were just some systems in it that like were clearly starting to show some age. But I think Torchlight 2 is definitely like one of those like cult favorite games. So like it's I believe you, yeah. Ghost
I can
Recon
talk
James, I'm
about-
sure you've
Let me talk about Wildlands. Highly recommend, especially with friends. Breakpoint's the most recent one, and it has come a long way. It was very bad when it came out and very disappointing in my opinion, as someone who loves Ghost Recon games. If you have people to play with, I can recommend it at a very, very deep discount.
Quick summary, what do you do? What type of people should be looking at this game?
It makes me sad that we have to explain Ghost Recon because it used to be like a pillar of shooters, but they are both open world first/third person military shooters. Think you're playing, like as a special forces guy, as part of like a team. They both are very much the classic now Ubisoft thing where you like go and attack a base and like, kind of clear a region. Wildlands is about being in, I want to say Bolivia, I think is where it takes place. And you're taking down like a narco cartel. And there's like individual leaders. And if you, God, no, nobody who listens to us is going to know, but if you ever played Mercenaries, the original Mercenaries, which was a open world military shooter in North Korea, basically you're like given like a list of, organization leaders for you to hunt down and capture or kill. And Wildlands is like the closest modern version of that for sure. It's a little older now, but I still recommend it over Breakpoint. Breakpoint, similar thing, open world, first/third person military shooter. A lot of customization in both games for like the guns and like what your character looks like, or at least for the second game for sure. And then, or not second, but for Breakpoint. Breakpoint just takes place in a really stupid setting and like world. And as a fan of like the older Ghost Recon games, it makes me really mad. But if you have friends to play with, I would recommend Wildlands first and then Breakpoint on deep discount.
80% seems like a pretty good discount. So yeah.
Even then, I'm Breakpoint kind of sucks.
Ooh.
Wildlands
Ooh,
though,
that's-
Wildlands is great. Highly recommend
Okay.
Wildlands.
So Wildlands, if you want a military shooter, 80% off of Wildlands right now. It's a great deal. Escapist is interesting. There's also a sequel to that, Escapist 2.
There is. Mm-hmm.
$4 if you want like a cute little fun indie break out of jail game. $4 seems pretty reasonable for that. I haven't played the second one, and I've only played a little bit of the first one, but I did enjoy the first one. It's not my cup of tea, but I still enjoyed it, which probably means it's a pretty good game. Stellaris, James.
Get it on Steam. The console versions I've heard are actually pretty good, but if you're gonna play Stellaris, you should do yourself a favor and play it on Steam.
That makes sense, and obviously, like, current sale price is good. So we've talked about the games before. Jedi Fallen Order for $8 if you like Souls-likes and you like Star Wars. Actually, either of those. It doesn't have to be both. If either of those are true for you, $8 for Jedi Fallen Order is a great game. 100%.
Yeah, fantastic.
Also EA Play it, therefore Game Pass Ultimate. Tomb Raider, $6 for Rise of the Tomb Raider. Holy shit, that is a fucking phenomenal game.
That's the third one, right?
I think Rise of the Tomb Raider is the first one.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider. No, first one's just Tomb Raider. Rise is second. Shadow is third.
I believe that. That sounds right.
Shadow, I didn't get that far in, but they're all three very good. I've beaten the heck out of the first two.
Good.
Yeah, they're very good.
So phenomenal. Like if you want if you're turned off by stealth, don't be turned off by this game. You do not have to play this game stealthy if that's your concern. Like you can literally just go in and fucking murder everybody. You can be stealthy if you want. You can shoot barrels to explode them if you want. Like they are just all three beautiful games, excellent stories, beautiful visuals, fun to play, absolute blast. And so $60 for Rise of the Tomb Raider is no fucking question. Like if you want a beautiful RPG, go play that. Third person kind of shooter RPG. We've already talked about Prey, already talked about Plants vs. Zombies. I honestly would sleep on Rage 2. I don't know. It was fine, but didn't super do it for me. And like it is on Game Pass.
It should have been much better than it was. The pedigree it had between the two studios, it should have been much better than it was.
Like it definitely wasn't bad. It just
No, it's just very okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, $12 for Mass Effect 1 to 3.
That's
no question.
insane.
Do it.
deal.
Do it again.
That game
Similar to
ready to go on
Andromeda,
$12 sale. It's not been out that
part of Game Pass Ultimate. It's
not true.
probably
A
what's
wild sale.
well, and it's a collection, right? So like I feel like collections inherently tend to go on bigger sales sooner because like
Yeah.
there's a little less people jumping at the bit for them. Damn,
Did you play the Lost Planet games?
Yeah, I did.
Played
They're dated as
Yeah.
hell now, but
Kidding.
1 and 2 are really, especially 2 is really good.
I think they're fun, but I do think the concept is better than the actual game.
I agree with
It's
that.
such a fun concept, but then the gameplay is kind of like a little bit
Yeah.
clunkier. It might just
Second
be the time.
games. Did you ever play the like multiplayer / co-op of the second game, Packy?
Just a little bit.
That was the best part of the second game. Is if you had like a good 2 or 3 people to play with and playing the co-op missions in the second game, very very fun. That's what I mostly did. Dragon Age.
There's so many, dude. These sales,
Getting position.
sales, phenomenal. $14 Gotham Knights, James. Yes, no.
No. I got my money's worth and
Yeah.
enjoyed it, but game
I don't
titles.
think we need any more than a no. Yeah. Fallout 76 for $8.
No.
Apparently
Costs
it's
money.
gotten so much better though.
Yeah, it costs money. I mean, it's on Game Pass,
Well,
but you could buy it too.
yeah,
Position
Dragon Age
fantastic.
Inquisition, obviously, like I said, $8, great game.
Doom.
Doom,
$4.
2019.
Jesus.
Steel.
That's, again, also Game Pass, but
Eternal.
fantastic game.
On Steam, at least, Doom Eternal is $9, which is the second one, and I would bet it's the same on the Xbox. And yeah, you should definitely play both.
Yeah,
They're both
both
fantastic.
I just finished beating Eternal. Just like it strikes that like just glorious run forward murder things rampage.
They're fantastic,
it's so
just
well.
like arcadey arena shooters.
We already touched on Dishonored, obviously. Not my cup of tea, but if that's your type of game, they're great games.
They're fantastic.
I bounced off Deathloop pretty hard.
Oh, me too. And I love arcane games. Jacob loves Deathloop, but I bounced off it real hard.
Yeah, I don't think Jetpack Swords would recommend.
I can
Deathloop.
see,
Drop
Packy,
off.
did you play Deathloop?
No.
It's a roguelike. It's a roguelike arcane game. Like, I feel like you might vaguely be interested if you've tried it.
It's so weird because it's a game that's well reviewed, but all the people I personally know who have played it have had the experience that you
Yeah,
had.
I love arcane games, but I bounced so hard.
Here's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah,
Bioshock Collection for $10. If you haven't played those games, again, excellent RPGs, excellent stories, excellent environments. Like
They're RPGs. They're shooters.
$10, there's no question. They're shooty RPGs. You got to
They're not
level up your.
Still not played those games.
Not RPGs.
And you're right, they are more shooters, but they're fantastic games.
Yeah, very. Battlefront 2 is actually
honestly,
really good.
I would totally
It's really
recommend
fun.
Battlefront 2 for $8.
And like,
if
I'm
you just want
pretty sure the servers are still like decently populated. At least on Steam they are.
I think they are, yeah. Have you played Aiden Colony, James?
A little bit. Would not recommend for anybody unless you are very, very specifically interested in like a colony builder. And there are better colony builders than Aven Colony. And that game's also old and on the console. Don't play Aven Colony now.
The Assassin's Creed Valhalla Odyssey
Oh,
Origins bundles for $32.
That's a really good
Holy
deal.
shit,
That's
that
a
is
lot.
that is
like-
hours. That is hundreds of
gonna say.
hours.
That's like, yeah.
Like if you
250
watch,
200 hours.
which all of those, those are, especially between the three of them, they weight more heavily towards the like XXXXY, like I'm gonna level up my equipment type games.
Yeah. Oh, great.
But if that's what you're looking for, $32 is a fucking steal for all of those. Like holy
Yeah,
shit,
for sure.
excellent games.
Ace Combat.
Oh yeah. Although don't get the Maverick Ultimate Edition. Get the other.
No, it's not worth it for the Top Gun stuff.
Don't buy Skyrim.
Yeah, just Game Pass.
Don't give them money for the 18th time they've released that game. They don't deserve
I've
it.
given them
Sunset Overdrive for $5. That is an interesting game. It's one of those
Probably
games that like I
worth
play. I'm like, this is
$5.
fun and I enjoy it. And like it, yeah, actually, sorry, $5. It's worth it. Like Sunset Overdrive's made by Insomniac.
better
Now makes the
games.
Spider-Man games. That is
If the
problem.
like the idea of the sentiment where you were going, like it's fun, But I just feel like there's other things that just do everything it does better.
Yeah, just play
Like
any of
Spider-Man.
Insomniac's other games. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Like Spider-Man 1 or
I love
Miles
them.
Morales or 2.
Insomnia. How did
Ori and the Blind Forest, $5. Great platform for
I will
$5.
say
Holy shit.
also, before we jump past it, Pillars of Eternity, if you like classic
yeah,
RPGs,
shit,
like
I'm so bad.
CRPGs, it's Obsidian, the people who did New Vegas, the people who did Grounded. I mean, I think Obsidian is legitimately like, the single, probably most talented, other than like FromSoft, like most talented game studio, just because, as I've mentioned before on the podcast, if you're a studio that makes like the same kind of game, and they're all good, but you make the same kind of game every time, great. But if you're a studio who can make multiple different genres and kinds of games and they're all great, that is like a show of skill as a team. And Obsidian is that to me. And Pillars of Eternity is a very, very good classic, like CRPG, if you're into that. So is the second one, which I'm sure is on sale also.
Obviously lots of Halo sales, $10 for Master Chief Collection if that's your jam.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Right. Like that's
Fallout 4.
4 or 5 games since when. Anyways. Oh yeah, Fallout 4, $10.
That's all the DLC too. There's a lot of DLC for Fallout 4. There's like 4 different things. Doom Eternal.
Oh, and there's Doom Eternal, yeah. $10 for the base game of Doom. Oh, no question. That game.
Ancient Gods, the expansion's really good too. So I would say even if you like it already, like if you think you'll like it, go ahead and get the expansions.
Oh yeah. Which you're gonna like it because they're great games, and it's no question about it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend State of Decay, even though it's $1.75, because I'd recommend State of Decay 2, which I'm sure is also on sale and is on Game Pass. But I really enjoy State of Decay 2. Yu-Gi-Oh! No, I'm just kidding. Unless you all have anything to add about Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah. Again, Tomb Raider, fantastic game. Okay, we just got to the thing that sparked this entire podcast. I'm about to buy Tiny Tina's Next Level Edition for $17.50 because I fucking loved Borderlands 3, and you all said Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is basically Borderlands 3, but with more variety with like spells and melee and other shit. It's like, I'm super excited. I'm assuming for $17.50, that is a buy.
I have barely played Wonderlands, but I enjoyed the little bit that I did play. So I mean, yeah, if you liked 3 and 17, I would get it.
Yeah, I think I would caveat it with it is worth it if you really liked 3 and want more of that.
Yeah.
I don't see why you would take Tiny Tina's over 3. 3 is cheaper.
Yeah, agreed. 3's I think
Also,
the better game.
that's a very good point. Yeah, if you're like looking for a game to play and you're low on cash or whatever, yeah, Borderlands 3, $9 or whatever over Tiny Tina's. Also, speaking for Packy, because I texted him earlier, don't get the DLC for Tiny Tina's.
Oh,
That's
I have it all.
Really
Is it
disappointing.
bad?
It's just so, if you're used to Borderlands DLC, which is like new zone, new boss, new story, stuff like that, nuh-uh. It is like a one-time scenario, and the main value is they're going to add it along with some like other mix-ups to the end game. I can't remember what it's called when the repeatable scenarios are at the end of the game.
I know you're
Literally
talking
do
about.
not
Yeah,
unlock until you beat it. But yeah, like the main thing that they were going for, it's the entire thing they are going for with that game is to improve, because the one thing that Borderlands, like the whole series, is bad at compared to the other looter shooters is the repeatable content once you've beaten the story. Like I think the story is better than all the others, but it's easily the worst at like once you are end game, what do? You keep replaying the game over and over again. So they tried to like, this is their answer to that, and they like invested in it very, very heavily. And while it is fun, I don't think it's like endlessly repeatable the way that they obviously would hope that it would be. And the DLC solely being like, hey, here's a mix up on that thing you've already done a bunch of is not worth it.
So scrolling down, so we've got Force Unleashed and Force Unleashed 2, both are $5.
I would highly recommend. Some of the best Star Wars content ever.
Do they not hold up? Do they not show their age? That'd be my concern.
I don't know, but they had some pretty advanced like character animation and like terrain deformation and stuff tech for the time. And I mean, they're very much of that era where you were getting like single player linear games that I don't know. Like I don't even know there's anything that's exactly like those anymore. Like the kind of good licensed single player linear games. I don't know. I liked them a lot as a kid. Now, I mean, I would just say go play
Hey, I loved them as a
Jedi
kid.
Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order. But like look up Star
And
Killer and see how
kind of
cool it
where
is. Star Killer was awesome.
for sure. So another game that's kind of old, but I actually have played recently, and it does hold up. It's not super old. It's not as old as Star Wars, Force Unleashed. South Park Stick of Truth, 700 or not 700. Oh my God, Greg, Jesus Christ, get it together. $7.49 for South Park: The Stick of Truth is totally worth it. It's a great game. It's like if you okay, it's a great game if you like South Park and you like playing video games. If you don't like South Park, don't buy the game, obviously. But like, it is a solid, just like kind of self-contained South Park story, and the gameplay itself is pretty good. You know, like you were talking about, it was made by Obsidian, who you
Mhm.
talked about earlier, James.
Obsidian's great.
So
For a while.
again, here's Shadow of the Tomb Raider again, $10, no fucking question. Buy that shit. Fantastic game. Play that shit. So fucking good. Lots of people love the Resident Evil games.
The
Mac, are there any
remakes
that stick
are
out?
really good. I would say 2 and 3, which are the remakes of 2 and 3 respectively, are really good. I didn't get very far into them. I just lose interest in things really quickly, but they're really good. If you want something like stupid fun and very old, 5 and 6, like the old 6 are, or I guess the only 6
Yes.
are wild. They're like very fun co-op stupid games, but if you want something good, like actually good, the remake of 2, the remake of 3, and then the more modern ones, like 7 and 8, are all fantastic. Oh, and the remake of 4 too. I forgot the remake of 4 just came out too. It's great.
So we talked about it a little bit. James, would you recommend?
I recommend the
Subtract
hell out of
$10.
Destruction. I don't even know if the servers or anything are still up. I think it's a phenomenal game. I like it more than Siege. I think it's great, but that's just me. You all know my
Interesting.
taste in games.
Psychonauts 2 for $15 is, I still think too, I really enjoyed the game. I think it's a great game. It's beautifully designed. The environments are beautiful, and they're all like pretty diverse, obviously. It's on Game Pass, so if you're interested in playing on Game Pass, for $15, I actually think I'd still hold off. Like, again, it's a great game. It's probably worth $15, but like, I don't know, it kind of feels like a $10 sale game to me. Which, speaking of $10 sale games,
You're breaking people's
Outriders,
hearts
if you
with that.
I really am. And no, I tell me right, it's a great, beautiful game. It's just there's so many great, beautiful games that like it's really, yeah, I don't know. $10 for Outriders if you're a looter shooter fan, which I am a looter shooter fan. Solid game for $10. Like, I haven't played the expansion because it's surprisingly expensive and everybody says it's not like super duper worth it. But $10 for just Outriders, like straight through, great choice. Metro Exodus, I would recommend that for $10. I played it. I beat it.
Would definitely
It was good.
recommend the first 2. I have not played Exodus yet because it was one of my PS5 games that did not work. I have not tried it on the new PS5 yet, but the originals 1 and 2 are really good.
Then my 2 cents would be the newest one, Exodus, is more modern, and there is some clunk to the previous ones.
There is a little.
That if you're not a fan of clunk, I personally would say go straight to Exodus.
I think it's fair.
But if you don't mind clunk, yeah, Metro Redux bundle for $7.50, great fucking choice. But there's some clunk, and so you got to be prepared for that, and you got to be accepting of that. Holy shit, Lego Brawls for $5. I kind of want to buy that. I'm not gonna lie. Is this a fighting game? Packy, is this our next fighting game? Is Lego Brawls our next fighting game?
Never playing a Lego game. That's behind me.
Aw, Lego games are fun.
Yeah. Which we did just pass a bunch of Lego games.
I liked
really
the Batman ones are pretty good. I didn't play 3, but Batman 2 I think was the one I played a lot of, and then the Marvel 2. There's 2 like open world Marvel ones that are really good too.
God, dude, I don't know how I ever thought we would like manage to do this in a thing. Or Guardians of the Galaxy for $15. Would you all recommend Guardians of the Galaxy for $15?
No.
1,000%.
See, that's interesting because so there was a yes and a no, and I'm a maybe. I'm kind of like I was for Psychonauts 2. I'm like, I really enjoyed that game, but I almost feel like, I don't know, like $15 is like right on the fence.
The Game Pass.
It was Game Pass.
If we could rent games, I would say rent that game.
That'd be great.
I think $15 is the right price point for it. because it's about that. It's about
Probably
15 hours
fair.
long. And the rule of thumb is
I think that's
$1
fair.
per hour.
Yeah.
I just
So yeah, $15 Guardians of the Galaxy. I think you have swayed me. So now we're 2-1. Golf with your friends, another Game Pass game, but for $5, it is an absolute fucking blast. Halo Wars 2. I really like Halo Wars 1 and 2, and the second one for $10 seems like a great deal, great price.
I would actually say, go
Um,
ahead, if you like RTSs, which like nobody does anymore because they don't exist, but I would go ahead and get the complete collection for Halo Wars 2, the one that's the 15. Like that's a lot of DLC
yeah.
for a very good game.
All right, and so we will wrap it up with what we have on screen right now. So, which is Gears Tactics, Gears 4, Gears 5, which are $10, $5, and $15. And I would say for the single player aspect of all those games, which Gears Tactics only has single player, I would recommend all three of those games for those prices. Like Gears Tactics is an XCOM-esque game, so if that's what you are digging, Gears Tactics is a great game for $10. Gears 4 is a beautiful campaign for $5, and then Gears 5 with the DLC. It looks like, I think it's with the DLC. I can't actually tell. If it's with the
Year
DLC, yeah, which I'm not actually 100% sure that means it has the DLC, because Hive Busters is really good. It does have Hive Busters expansion. Okay, so yeah, $15 for Gears 5 Game of the Year edition with the Hive Busters expansion is, again, just like, that is some really high quality single player content. Like if you are looking for like a single player third person shooter campaign story, fucking Gears 5 for $15 is fantastic. Like, and same with 4 for cheaper amounts of money. And yeah, and then there's some Fallout, but we hit the end of the page and we only made it through 400 games. Jesus fucking Christ. You know what? Just for shits and giggles, actually, let me go to the end.
Oh, I saw Remnant 2.
Go. I did see. Okay, sweet. Remnant 2 is at the end. Let's just do the last page really quickly. Remnant 2 for $35. I don't know what you're getting. Yeah,
I just bought it for Jacob so we can play it on the Xbox together while it was. I think I bought it new because it wasn't even on sale. I literally missed the sale by a day.
Which, so some places let you do like the retroactive price matching, so you should see. But yeah, Remnant 2, which I haven't played the DLC yet, but
I'm not
Shield
I've heard on some
podcast
a little
said he enjoyed it. He liked the new archetype, which does have a new archetype, so that's cool.
It does.
But yeah, Remnant 2, 30% off, $35 for the base game. Fucking great choice. That game is phenomenal. It's a shooty, Souls-like, if that's your jam. Hi-Fi Rush, 30% off, great game. Go quickly. This is rapid fire, speed round. Say something if you see it. Interrupt me. Which obviously we're at the not super discounted stuff, so like a lot of these are harder to recommend for the price, obviously.
But a lot of them are newer and good deals. Like Mortal Kombat 1 is a really good fighting game, and it was on sale. Street Fighter 6 is a really good fighting game, also on sale. I think those are worthwhile at full price, but if you're on sale, that's great. Blasphemous 2 is probably really good. Age of Wonders 4 is great.
Ooh, Cyberpunk is not on a big sale anymore. It's so funny knowing that I bought this game for $10 like a year after it came out, and now bundled with the thing is $64.
A very good game now. As someone who hated it on launch and was so disappointed, the most disappointed I've ever been in a game. I put in somewhere around 100 hours after Phantom Liberty came out. Very good.
And there is, not like, dude, why is Forza only 10% off? That's fucking stupid. It should be more than 10% off.
It's the one that just came out. It literally just came out.
It should still be more than 10. It should be like 20% off, because that's what it is if you have Game Pass. It should be 20% off for everybody. But anyways, if you are looking for a new game to play, this is like, go back through this. I don't know. There's shit tons of games on sale right now, and clearly there's a bunch of good games on sale. Obviously, a lot of them are older. So if you're looking for like a really, what's the phrase? Patient gamers. If you're a patient gamer, now is your fucking week. This is your fucking week if you're a patient gamer. Which then I don't know if I explicitly mentioned it before. I think we moved on quickly, which was good. If you play games on PC, you like saving money, you should know what Humble Bundle is. It's excellent. Humble Bundle basically just does.
Yeah, it's great.
Go ahead, James.
I was gonna say it's great. I follow their choice thing, which lets you pick like 3 games every month of a selection of like 7 for a subscription fee, and you can also choose to skip a month, and there's no like penalty. So I usually skip most months because choice the games have been kind of lame for like me personally for the last couple months, but there's always usually like a bigger budget game, like 1 or 2 every month, plus some like smaller ones. It's a good way to find games that you like might be interested in, but you didn't want to pay full price for because you're already paying the subscription. And you can also just again like tell Humble Bundle that you're gonna pause for a month, and they're like, all right, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the bundles themselves are all fantastic. You can usually get like at least a couple games for like $2. And then if you pay the average that most people pay for the bundle, you get like all the games in the bundle, and it's never much. It's like $13, maybe $15 usually. And there's all sorts of bundles. They don't just do games. They do all sorts of like learn to code, or here's a bunch of like, Blender UI assets and stuff. And then they also have a store page just like Steam where they put stuff on sale. It's always like similar to Steam. Humble Bundle is fantastic. All three of their like pillars, the choice, the like actual storefront, and the bundles, which is what they're most known for, of course, are all fantastic. So yeah, for sure.
All right. Thank you everybody for joining Jetpack Swords for this kind of weird, random. This is probably a dumb idea for an episode, but I don't fucking know. I don't know. Half the time we talk about games we played anyways. This was just like going through a list and talking about games we played in the list, so it felt reasonable. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out.
For
That's it
listeners,
Jetpack
please let us
Swords.
know what you think.
Yeah. All right. Bye, everybody.
Here.